Smoke and mirrors.
That's life.
Entertainment, baby. Will you be reading out of your Torah or whatever it is you read out of today?
I just took notes just in case there was like surprise of like dates or stuff like that.
Test. Yeah, good. Sounds perfect. Alright, we're gonna pause. Good afternoon, universe. This is Alex Soto once again with another episode of Articulate Barbarian. Today we have a very special guest, Miss Gwendolyn Honeytush. Ms. Honeytush, welcome to the show.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Gwendolyn was on my show. She opened up for my Hear Me Roar comedy show, which we just got done with. I think we got to bed at like 5 o'clock this morning. And we've been running hard for the last couple of days. So we had a great show, full of curveballs, and
Fun.
it was a very strange night. And I have an underlying fatigue under my skin, but by God, we're going to crush through this because I got to take her back to Tampa. So you are a burlesque dancer. I found her on Facebook. This is one of the things I talk about being an old man with Facebook. How you can actually reach out to somebody and see them on Facebook. And what actually drew me to you originally was my sister growing up was a fan of pinup models. And you had some cool, the pinup
Retro.
model, right, and also the nose art on the planes, and that's something that my sister was big into, always coming up. Right, exactly.
The tattoos, I got all the pinup girls and always been into it.
So when I reached out to you and I told you I was interested in, I am combining, I like to try to think of my show as not just guys with microphones and gals with microphones telling jokes, but I try to put it together in a way that's almost like I epitomize grown and sexy. So we actually start my comedy show with a burlesque dancer opened up, and Miss Honeytush did a fantastic job, had the crowd primed.
Ready. Never opened up before, so you popped my cherry.
Ooh, sexy.
First timer.
So how'd you get into all this? Where did it all begin?
Well, pinup was always been something that I was interested in as a child. My step-grandfather had nose art books. He was actually retired military, and I just thought the women were very sexy and classy, and it was something my mom always would talk about. You know, they were very classy ladies that posed for pictures. And I started modeling, and I found out they would tell me I was too chunky. You had to be skinnier and skinnier. And I started modeling with cars and motorcycles because you could be a little bit more weight on you. And I had a friend of mine say in 2001, why don't you just do pinup? I'm thinking, that's dead. That's from like the 40s and the 50s. They're like, no, it's coming back.
Right.
And I started doing pinup with them in Boston, and it went crazy from there. And I almost moved out to California to pursue the career, and unfortunately that fell through. But I used to only have tattoos on one side of my body because a photographer told me you can book more gigs if you have no tattoos on one side and tattoos on the other, because you can do modern,
Isn't that interesting?
vintage.
So how long have you been in the business of sexy? How long have you been in the
I
business?
think it started when my mom put me in modeling classes when I was 18. She wanted to break me out of that awkward high school braces girl. She's like, I'm going to put you in modeling, give you some confidence. I think that was her downfall. Because I got a lot of confidence. You learn how to walk with the book on your head, and I started modeling and just never stopped.
Right.
Been modeling ever since.
Well, we talked about this before the show, and one of the things that I find that I think as a father of two daughters and a 43-year-old man, I look and I see, like if I went to Biketoberfest and I see the ladies working their asses off. They're very attractive, but it comes with strings attached. It's a lot of work. And it's also to constantly be gawked at and always being wanting somebody's trying to get at you. And I see the grind, and I understand that it's a hard job. So I also noticed that one of the things that appealed to me is you have a nice, charming personality, but you also have a bit of a business sense about you.
Absolutely.
And
you have to have separate.
Right, and you calculate well, and I appreciate that. And also, things that I just noticed, like when I go into a restaurant, I always check the bathroom and see if it's cool and do they something chic with it, and if it's clean. So she come in with all her outfits lined up, everything set up very well, professional, attention to detail. I have to see the
menu, I have to see what the stage looks like, I have to see the layout, and then I can kind of create the scene because I'll do it in my head.
Right. And like I said, it worked out really well. So you had mentioned you were in New England. Where are you from originally?
Tampa, Florida, born and raised.
Yeah.
Right next to Busch Garden 813.
Oh, shit,
813. No,
so she's city folk. She actually came to the country to work.
Come to the country to work. My mom is from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and my dad is from Lower Alabama.
Okay, that's right. Yeah, redneck daddy.
Yeah, redneck daddy, and a Yankee mama. So my 2 Thanksgivings are fun. One's on paper plates and one's on charger plates.
Right.
So 2 totally different worlds.
Hells to the I can relate.
2 totally. Well, yeah, we can relate because we both have German moms. Crazy. They're crazy.
Another thing with the shout out Anzia with Anzia Magazine, I had interviewed with her, and I used that interview, forwarded to other people to kind of give me credibility. And one of the things that, again, connections, she keyed in on something when I talked about my mother because she's German, and it's like, you know. That
whole interview I watched you, I think I watched it 3 or 4 times because I was like, that's my life.
I know, it's so funny. It's so funny. So I see something incorporating sexuality with a grown-up show in a comedy show. Last year, when I did my fair, when I shot my first special, we had a guy shout out Dylan Rapaski, who apparently just put on Facebook that he's going to California and he's going to live out of his backpack for some kind of it's either a show or a competition or something. Yeah. All right, dude. But as long as I've ever known him, I haven't known him long. He always rides mountain bikes through downtown Orlando and stuff. But he's a Florida State master musician, and he's also like a waiter. That's how he translates that awesome degree. But he does this weird, not weird, it's beautiful. He took this like giant plastic drum, and he put trash cans on top of it, and there's a cymbal, and he does like this performance art thing where he beats on this drum, and as he's circling the drum. He was also originally on the marching band, so he comes into my show. He comes into the show doing the he gets up on the stage, and then his whole show is as he's circling around, and he has this background music playing, and he's beating on this drum, and he's funny. So like he has this charming, funny wit about him.
He has the presence.
So as the show's progressing, he's removing his clothes. So he gets down to where he's down to just his little underwear. And he's we had a professional body painter paint him all up underneath. So it was like, and because that was a non-alcoholic show, like that last year. Now
so that's like his gimmick. Everybody has like a gimmick.
I'm trying to figure out, I'm like, God, without alcohol, it's not as funny. In my opinion, I think it all goes together. So I'm like, damn it, man. So I said, well, what's the next thing I can get to is, make people horny. So nothing like getting a bunch of old country bras from my town in this fair, and all of a sudden this good-looking young pretty boy Justin Bieber looking dude. I just told you,
I was like, why wasn't I at this show?
So I saw something in that. Now Dylan was a great first pick, but unfortunately, A, he's gone, and B, I get it, but
you gotta try it out. You never know.
But I immediately keyed in with the idea of having sexuality brought into my show.
Well, if you know true burlesque, that's how the shows were put on. You would have a show with all these ladies, and as the ladies were changing, in the original shows in the 40s and 50s, comedians were there, and they were the comic relief in between the girls. So they actually are a perfect marriage.
So explain to me what burlesque is for us old folks.
Okay, well actually the old folks want to know. It's the kids I have to explain it to.
Well,
they don't
explain
understand.
It to the old Baptists over here.
All the old Baptists, well then I have to explain. Way back, you can go back to Josephine Baker, you can go fast forward a little bit to Tempest Storm, you could even fast forward to now, to Dita Von Teese. It's the art form of stripping. So all these strippers that work in all these clubs, they can thank these ladies for getting arrested, making milestones. I mean, Josephine Baker being a black woman coming back to America, that didn't settle well. She was famous in France, like a millionaire, all for her banana dance. Topless and some bananas, and she was famous. Tempest Storm got arrested because they told her don't go down to pasties, and she didn't care. She came a swinging, and there was the cops, and out she went. I mean, these ladies they paved the way for us to keep doing it. So it's like a classier art form of stripping. Okay. So whatever you see in those clubs, that's like the watered down version. And even every club I worked in, I would always walk up to the DJ and say, I'm either going to be your best friend or a pain in your ass. And he's like, why? And I would hand him my songs, and it's nothing like you hear in strip clubs.
Right.
You got Christina Aguilera, you've got Michael Bublé, you've got Frank Sinatra, and he just looked at me. I was like, it's gonna hurt. Work with me. I said, I work day shift. What is day shift? Old men.
Right.
They don't know who Young Buck Jeezy something is, and they don't care. I'm here to make money. So if he hears Frank Sinatra and he sees me come out and I'm doing this sexier little burlesque dance, I'm going to get his attention faster. Therefore, the money's going to come faster. So if you change your music for your demographic, we had a bunch of Alabama boys come in, and I went up to the DJ. I said, change my set to all country. And he just looked at me like I had 20 eyeballs. I said, I'm here to make money.
Right.
If they're happy, I'm happy.
Right.
But, sometimes they would try to put you in boxes and make you dance to techno and rap and stuff, and it just wasn't me.
Right.
So but it's more glamorized. You tend to be rhinestones. You saw last night.
Right.
Rhinestones on my fishnets and rhinestones on the bra.
I loved it.
It's all about being glamorous. The feather fans.
Right.
That's very traditional burlesque, and I hope to get some more in the future, bigger ones.
I need. Well, we'll talk off air too, but we'll talk about it on air because this will be a seedling of something I'm going to work out. I need a Ric Flair robe. But I'm not going to spend that kind of money for a Ric Flair robe. So I need a fake Ric Flair robe.
Help me out.
Right. Well, we'll have to talk about it because I know you can make that happen. So, I want to pay for it. I just, if that fool's, I've been researching Ric Flair. So they spent a lot of money on those robes. So it appeals to me when I had Anzie on the show, and I actually offended her because I don't know exactly how to say it without offending. I said, your artwork, the way you do your magazines, impact me like it reaches across the room and smacks me. It's almost like hot chicks that are getting chased through the streets of a Philadelphia. So there's a little schmutz on her shoulder, on her elbow, and her hair's a little disheveled and they're shiny, but they're smoking hot. And I find that it's kind of more of a sophisticated look. It's artsy.
It's artsy.
And that's the thing about the burlesque show that's of interest to me. Sexuality. Everyone knows.
Sex sells. I don't care what anybody says.
But everybody knows what a tit looks like.
Yeah.
If you can make it a little more glamorized,
display it a different way. Yeah.
And I'm all about the art of it, believe it or not. A lot of these people are all like, "Ooh, horn dog." It's not really about that.
Well, it's like when somebody refers to me. And of course, you're just saying, well, some people get offended. I had to just let it roll off. Last night I was just the stripper. And because they don't...
depending on who she's talking to, the scrapple.
I heard that too. It's just because they're not educated to understand what it is. And girls that would get upset like that, I was with a troupe and some girls would get upset with that. And I said, once you just let that go,
right.
Because technically it is stripping.
Right.
You're taking your clothes off.
Right.
It's just a more elegant way of taking
See, I'm almost like envisioning, not knowing anything about the craft, I'm almost envisioning you doing a one-man show with us, the way you're doing it. But, for instance, my sister's boyfriend, shout out Rick, he's kind of a stiff fella.
Yeah,
so
those are the ones I pick on.
That's the point, though. If you could have done that to make it a comedy part, that would be the next level where your actual bit would be you do a full show, then the funny would be how you make guys squirm in front of everybody else. If
I get a heads up from somebody, I can also do it myself. I've been behind a curtain and decided I'm looking, and I'll pick my victim right there. I'm like, that's what I'm gonna pick on. It even happened on one show. I was in the bathroom and this woman was complaining, we've had this big table, nobody's come up to us. Funny enough, it was the same song I did for you. 50 Shades of Grey, Earn It, The Weeknd.
Great
Yes,
show.
Good song.
Y'all missed it. It was a happening last night, folks. We'll get into that in a second.
And I couldn't believe that not one girl went up to that table. And me having a stripper mentality, I said, well, I'm going to change up my show and go pay attention to that table a little bit. Even though nobody knew it, I strategically placed two friends in the audience to have handcuffs and unlock it and this whole thing. One had a riding crop just, to amp up the 50 Shades of Grey thing. But they had no idea that I had it all planned out. But then I last minute changed it and pay attention to the table to give them that little bit of comedy or a little bit of, hey, give them some attention. But yeah, if the problem is you got to be careful if it's a guy and he's with a girl, you got to be careful of that. You can piss off a girl.
Right, no doubt. Yeah.
It's a fine line to walk. You can't just grab one guy and be like all over him because she's gonna shoot you a look that.
See, like I'm also imagining like getting him, putting him in a chair, blindfold him, but then Jesse come out in a thong.
We've done this.
And grind up. Right. So, like I said, it's just opening up more opportunities.
It's when you do that, it's really fun because they think, oh, I'm in the hot seat. Oh, here she comes. And then they feel somebody grinding, and they got this big old grin, and everybody's losing it.
See, I have this thing that I'm working on. I just haven't tweaked it all the way yet. Where I have this bit about how. Caressing a woman's face, but I said so as not to offend any men in the room who's with their ladies, I'd like to choose a man. And then I do this whole thing where I'm actually like being super, and it's awkward as fuck, but the whole time I'm talking to him like it's gonna be all right. This has nothing to do with gay shit, all right?
You're like, no homo.
I'm trying to,
no homo.
So, and the whole idea, and that's the whole thing is I like that
you gotta twist it.
Awkwardness, but I'm not into like awkward that makes you like I have a running
kind of like awkward when I didn't have my middle and everybody was a horde.
Yeah, that was awkward. That would probably be my sister. She's quick to move furniture in a restaurant for somebody else.
Tell her thank you. Thank you, sister.
Thanks, Kristen. It's all good.
You made me change my thing again.
Well,
next talk about it later.
So last night. We performed at a place, shout out Thomas Mosley, at Diamond Sports Bar.
He was very sweet to get me my Guinness. I love you.
And one of the things that makes that bar unique is, we're just going to call it out. It's basically a black bar. It's basically a quote-unquote urban place, 98%, and it's a small town, urban scene, so we have our own flavor. Shout out motherfucking Shores, y'all. It's a good flavor. It's the schmutz in that skillet, you know what I mean? So the thing about it though is last night, because of my social media platform, whatever, we had a tremendously diverse crowd, including even two ladies from the Villages, which is the retirement community.
That was a curveball for me.
And because we ended up in the smaller room, what was 60, 80 people in a large room now became very intimate. It was a great crowd. It was phenomenal. We had a great show last night.
Yeah.
And
all the comics killed it.
And it's just the beginning now, because now, like, wash, rinse, and repeat. That's the vision. So, thank you for sharing with me this part of the information. But now I'm at the part of the show where it's the and I'm going to be old man.
Oh, here we go.
Because I'm not sure I get it, but you're also very popular and very much involved in the cosplay scene.
Yes. The cosplay scene. I've been doing cosplay since 2001. I've been a comic nerd since 1992. That dates me a little bit. Huge fan of X-Men and Batman. So I like X-Men for the superheroes, and I like Batman for the villains, even though I'm wearing Batgirl. I'm more of a villain kind of girl.
So,
but I build them, design them, and I make my own props.
So here's the, first of all...
Or what is cosplay?
Well, go ahead, break it down.
Yeah, well, what cosplay is you dress up like a character, and it could be anything from sci-fi,
you could do pirates, pirate theme.
Pirate themes.
Costume play.
Yeah, it's costume play. But mainly
steampunk, there's different layers and genres. And I'm fascinated by steampunk. I actually have
I haven't built one yet because I have 3 designs, and I need 2 other ladies to wear my other designs. But if I do, I'm going... balls out. It's going crazy.
There's a designer who does the circuit, and she's out of Orlando. So her and I were gonna have a conversation because I'm interested in the whole concept of steampunk.
That's why I'm trying to get you to go to Dragon Con with me.
Well, we're talking about we might be doing. See, here's the thing though, because and it's not that I don't want to go to Dragon Con. It's just, I'm not really into stinky people and lots of stinky people. I was actually thinking of vlogging and taking a road trip to somewhere like Asheville, North Carolina, or with you, with all of us, the whole fucking outlaw
Get the
crew.
gypsy bus and go.
Or Colorado. I mean, I have
Never been there.
Yeah, but I actually have connections in Colorado, so I mean, we can actually get in there, and he has a little spot in the back that he rents.
That's awesome.
So, you know, basically we would just grease the wheels a little bit, and he would just let us all cram up in there Mexican style, and then we can go.
As long as I can bring my dog.
Wow. Oh, yeah.
Princess Leia has to go.
So, and then the other, but Asheville, North Carolina, super dope.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of places.
Mm-hmm.
So, and ATL, super dope. I just, like I said, there's actually, it's been put on the books. It's a joke. I also, bit that I work on that I do, but the, whatever, who makes the flu, the names, there is actually a documented new flu called nerd flu.
Yes.
And
we call it AKA the confunk.
Right. So whenever the introverted children go out and socialize with each other, they get super sick because they have no fucking immune system.
We all ate bugs, played in the dirt. So we're immune to it.
It's just like, geez Louise, guys. So, and then also...
well, there's a process before you go to Dragon Con, though. You up all your vitamins and get ready, because what brings your immune system down? Drinking. Dragon Con is 3 to 4 days of straight drinking. So that's...
But is it porta potty thing?
No.
Okay, as long as there's a restroom.
What it is Dragon Con is 4 hotels. And the Marriott is the prime hotel that you want. It is open. The elevators are in the middle on the outside. This is where everybody goes to party it up. The Hyatt's the second one, and everything is connected with like hamster tunnels. So you really never go outside. It's air conditioning. Everything's air conditioning.
We'll be at Valdosta at the Motel 6.
We'll be down the street.
Whatever, hour and a half away where the motels start getting regular price, and then we'll infiltrate.
And then I'll show them all the rooms.
We'll infiltrate.
But no, what it is your immune system goes down because you're drinking all the time, and this, what we always call it, somebody in the group will catch the confunk.
So...
That's what we call it. But yes, nerd flu.
I have, like, I'm into simple everything. So, like, I have a cosplay costume. I dressed up as the Tooth Fairy with The Rock. So I had this super tight shirt. I had angel wings. But my shirt I had made, and it said, "I stole Harry Potter's stick." And it was
this is perfect. They have like a Harry Potter parade. We can just shove you right in, and you'll fit right in. Look, you're already ready.
I was a comic book dork back in the day, and now I have one guilty pleasure, and everybody picks on me because it's not even all that, but I'm an ElfQuest dork. So I only have ElfQuest. That's all I got. And I have issue number 1. and I spent $3 bills on that motherfucker, and that is so unlike me, but that just shows you my love for ElfQuest. And then X-Men, I was down with X-Men back when it was Marauders, when they were fighting in the subways. That was like, I was really appealed by that. I always felt like X-Men was harder. DC wasn't quite as hard. And then they spun off and did Vertigo and then Lobo, and they started getting darker with that.
They got, well, and also I read Image, and Image was pretty dark.
Image was good. Then, based on the history lesson, when computers got to where they can make the shit real fast, the value of all the comics went down, blah, 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 blah. Now they're basically holding on by way of video games and movies because the whole art...
Well, there's still people that will stand in line. I saw Stan Lee last MegaCon, it was supposed to be his last visit to Florida, because he's definitely up there. I think he's like 90-something.
He's 400.
Yeah. He's a vampire.
Yeah,
so I decided to get an X-Men comic signed by him, and people have stacks, rolly carts, and there's still, this big thing for old comic books getting signed. Now, nothing compares to the very first time I saw him, that 3 people in front of me, I saw this book go in front of him, and I almost hit the floor, because I was like, there's no way that's real. It was real. It was an X-Men number 1.
Right. I've seen
that Stan Lee signed. I mean, that's like the holy grail of like nerddom. And I was shocked that the wife told me he has now 1, 2, 3, and 4 signed by Stan Lee. I said, I hope you have insurance on that. Because once he unfortunately leaves this world, which I hope he doesn't, like a traditional comic book character, he just comes
But
back.
he'll be put to slumber for 200
Yes, I hope
years.
so. They'll freeze him and we can get him back.
Like in Underworld, and they'll just rotate his ass out. He's in a floor somewhere
I hope
with
so.
Walt Disney.
That's where they put him in the vault.
Right, exactly. So they'll be back in 500 years.
Good, because we don't want to lose him yet, but because he has to make all the appearances in all the movies.
His 2-second cameos
Yes.
that he gets paid for.
Oh yeah. No, did you know my favorite cameo though is when he did Deadpool, and the sadness behind that cameo. He was at the strip club in the scene, being the DJ. He was not there for the strippers. They filmed it outside and had the strippers later, and Stan Lee was upset that he did not get to see boobies. I think that is a shame. You should let that man see some hot ladies.
Everybody, if Stan Lee has social media, y'all send him some boobies.
Do.
So, we're gonna talk nerd talk now. So I don't understand. I missed video games completely. I'm that old, and I don't understand anything. I actually am confused why they're not making movies out of this cinematic epic shit that they do with these video games. And I guess they did with World of Warcraft last year, but
And they did Assassin's Creed, I think.
yeah, but I'm talking about with the full CGI.
Full CGI. Okay, yeah.
One of my guilty pleasures too is I get on these YouTube wormholes where I watch the cinematic trailer for a video game. I don't give a fuck about the game. I just think
like
it's
that.
badass. I love the way they do all the designing and all that shit.
I think the new Assassin's Creed that was all Egyptian, that one caught my attention. I don't want to play the game because I don't have the patience for it, but the whole graphics and everything was pretty sweet. I liked it.
It's amazing to me with the way things are going, and what do you think? Is it because people want to be somebody else for a few minutes? Is that what cosplay? Because it seems like some of it.
Because you get to be that character. If I put on a Harley Quinn outfit, I can be boisterous, loud, run up to people and hit them with a mallet, and nobody's gonna turn around and yell at me. They're like, "Oh, she's Harley," and or if you're Poison Ivy, you get to walk around and be central to these guys because that's just who the character is.
Right.
And it's fun. You get to be.
I grew up in a generation where people don't walk up on people and talk to them like that. So, like, as an old man walking through these cosplay things, because
Well, you have the creepers. There's creepers.
oh no, I don't even talk about it like that. But I mean, it's like
Come up on you.
It's like, one time I went to a charismatic church and the pastor said everyone close their eyes and touch the person next to you and let the Holy Spirit. And people started touching me in my blackness, and I was like, hey, whoa, wait a minute,
Personal
we're way
space,
out in the
personal
middle.
space.
I'm Hispanic. We don't fuck around. You can't
I'm
touch
German.
me
The elbow goes up.
So it's just like, it's interesting to me that when you go to these cosplay things. And it's funny because people that normally, like my youngest...
Don't ever go to an anime convention. That was worse.
Right.
They have this thing, these little kids, it's in Japanese, they call it glomping, which is where they run up and, like, tackle you. I was at one where I walked by the hallway and I was like, you do that, I'm gonna punch you in the face. I mean, these little, stinky little teenagers just jumping all over each other. And I was like, I think I got too old. I was like, all right, exit stage left. I gotta
The other thing
go.
about cosplay, too, with these really involved costumes, is
expensive.
They stink. The people smell bad. They sweat and they're funky. And I remember the year that the Orlando Comic Con was like, they shut down Orlando. There was so many people there.
The fire marshal will.
Now Saturday was the really bad day. I was there Friday and Sunday. I gave up on Saturday.
Saturday is almost pointless.
They said that you're slammed inside of an elevator. The elevator door opens, and on the other side is so many people you can't get out. That has happened to me. And all of them are stinky. They all smell funky.
Not everybody, come on, I don't smell.
No, not everybody, but there's enough of them there.
You get a surprise when, like, I'm the type of cosplayer where some girls, the guy will walk up and she's like this. I put my arm around him and say, where's the camera, and take a picture. I did make that mistake with this one guy, poor thing, Coke bottle glasses about that thick. I think he emerged from his mom's basement for 3 days, hadn't bathed, and I grabbed him and did where's the camera?
Oh man.
And I felt so bad, but I didn't want him on me.
Why can't y'all?
And they're staying in a hotel.
That lesson. I don't understand.
You're in a hotel room with free soap, free shampoo, like wash up. You think you want to attract the ladies? You got gorgeous women running around in skin tight comic book outfits.
Yeah.
It's your dream.
Right.
It's like your wet dream. and they still are like awkward and funky.
I
don't know.
picture like build a robot costume that sprays deodorant all over people. I don't know.
You'd be surprised. This is the best thing about Dragon Con. There are those comedy costumes.
Right.
I think there's one guy who runs around with paper, and he's called the fashion police. So if your costume looks like crap, he doesn't care. He'll make you hold the sign, and it's almost like a jailhouse picture. He'll take a picture. And there was somebody who, it was like must kill con funk, and he went around with Lysol. And it was a joke, but it was really, he was like, "Ooh, you smell. Here you go." And I those costumes always make me laugh because to me they're the most creative.
Right.
You're not just taking a picture of a comic book character and making it.
Right.
They're coming up with it out of their noodle.
See, once I'm gonna be going back on, I yo-yo diets all the time, so now I gotta get back on track because I've gained a bunch of weight. But once I get down to my weight, the transition that I want to do next is like underworld vampire
Yes.
look with the
Yes.
frilly blouses. But I want them to be really properly made, like the really nice ones. You know what I mean?
Watch your fabric because some of that frilly stuff it's non-breathable.
Right, itchy.
No, just non-breathable.
Oh, sweaty, stinky.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I am.
They look great because they have like a shine to them, but you have to pay attention to your fabric.
There's a pirate store in St. Augustine. And
I bought my blunderbuster from there.
very good. So that guy has access to nice shit.
Oh, his stuff is really nice.
Yeah. So we're gonna.
And it's got that authentic feel to it. It's
Right.
not like cheesy. Like it wouldn't be like a color that a pirate would
Yeah, he's got one that's like black and gold, and it's like a paisley, like a really like old school pattern.
Captain's jackets are awesome.
Yeah, so we're gonna be doing some big things with him here in the
Well,
near
we do
future.
pirate costumes. I already have probably 4 on standby.
Well, actually, like I just want to straight up wear like vampire
Vampire.
costume, yeah, like
I can
mix
always
it
bring
up,
that out, too.
like a urban vampire.
See, that's calling for a trip to New Orleans, though. That's just calling for a New Orleans trip right there.
That's funny.
So, because then we can go get properly made vampire teeth in New Orleans.
Awesome with
Yeah.
with diamonds on them.
If that's what you want. He wants
Get a grill.
The grill.
A diamond grill.
No, they make them in New Orleans and they will properly fit them. So you don't have to do all that stupid gunk and stick it on. That they just click on your teeth. And it's an excuse for me to go to New Orleans and get drunk.
Smells like piss.
Yes, it does. A lot. It was worse than New York. New York was bad, but I went to New Orleans and I
That's
was like...
because New Orleans got that humidity.
Well,
got that swamp life.
Yeah, it needed a nice washing.
Yeah.
Definitely needed that. But I loved it. I love you. I love you. It's my favorite.
We took my little fundamental independent Baptist youth group back in the day when I was involved. We took them to we went to New Orleans, but we ended up where the floating casinos are. Mm-hmm. Okay.
The riverboats.
Yeah, but it's not New Orleans. It's another town, but it's where the casinos are. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of fucking black people out there.
Oh yeah.
A lot of black people. Like, I had one black youth, shout out Rakeem Carter, he's in the military doing big things. Got him a white wife. You go with your bad self. So anyways.
Thank you for your service.
Rakeem hops out of the bus. He looks around and goes, "Damn, Brother Alex, there's a lot of black people up in here." We went to the Walmart. There's a lot of, and I couldn't help but notice that. Because listen, the Dirty South, we are still like kind of segregated. I mean,
A little
there's
bit, yeah. It
still
still is.
racism around here. But like, I go to Temple Terrace with my buddy. We're at Applebee's. I'm like, I have never seen this many black people in an Applebee's
Temple
at one
Terrace is
time.
where I grew up.
Yeah.
It definitely changed from the early 80s to what it is now.
Right.
I mean, it's still Suitcase City. That's what we call Temple Terrace. Right where I grew up, right on Bush Boulevard and Hialeah. It's where it's ghetto, as well. When he was telling those jokes last night, it's ghetto when you get robbed and you go pick your shit up at the Cash America Pawn. That's what we did.
Right.
You get robbed and you go get your stuff back.
Hells to the Well, Tampa's been gentrified. I mean, I remember Tampa 10 years ago. It looks really good now. I mean,
it had a downfall, but same thing with Ybor. Ybor was like, you don't go down. Ybor is now getting upscale.
Right.
Everything's getting fixed. They're taking all the old buildings. They even got one of the big old wooden ones they had. Right now, it's almost done. I think it's going to be apartments. It's all changed. And it looks good.
Yeah, well, and
it
also,
looks really good. Thank you, Ybor, for cleaning up.
Since I chauffeur on both coasts and do Orlando and Tampa all the time, I think the ocean clears up people's heads. Like the way the ocean goes right up into the hospital and the Tampa. They don't fuck around. They'll put a hospital right on the edge by the ocean, right there. So I like that. I like that the way they did that. So I mean, I think
I get landlocked if I don't go back.
And it's also cool because on the Tampa side, because they have St. Pete and all that shit down there in Clearwater, it's a lot of fun out that way. And I enjoy it. Plus, it's paying more. Y'all need to tighten up, Orlando. So I'm going to go ahead and transition now to this is that part where we talked about the message to the universe.
Yes.
So take a moment, gather your thoughts, say what you have to say, then there'll be a long pause, a few seconds, and you give me the nod, and then we'll wrap it up. And I want to thank you in advance for coming on my show.
Thank you for having me.
You did it took us a year,
Yes, basically. A year. That's
From the first time I reached out to you till our first show was almost a year.
Yeah.
So, thank you. It's been a
thank you.
You know, it's so funny because it's like her and Angie, everybody's always like, oh man, are you giving her the moves? And I'm like, she's a samurai sword to me. She's other people's interest, but right now she's way too important to me. I can't fuck it up. I don't shit where I sleep. So, take your time, give the message to the universe. Thank you so much for coming. I look forward to the next show. I'm already going to start putting the wheels to start putting them together.
I hope so. Are you ready? All right, my message to the universe is don't judge other people for how they look or work. Learn to love yourself and let others live how they want. If it's not hurting anyone, let it go. A girl's got to pay her bills. There you go.
Girl gotta eat. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Universe, thank you once again. This has been another edition of Articulate Barbarian. Gwendolyn Honeytush, social media, you want to go?
Oh, absolutely.
I always forget this shit.
That's okay. Social media, you can find me all one word, gwentipsygypsy. Snapchat, it's gwhenhoneytush, all one word. Twitter is at Miss Honeytush. And on Facebook fan page, Gwendolyn Honeytush. That's how you can find me. A lot of tushes in there.
Hey. She is what she is, and it's amazing what God put together. Thank you, universe. Love, peace, chicken grease. We out here. See you next time.
Bye.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. That was fun.
Oh, yeah.